What's up, Lore Hounds? It's Cooper here. I'm standing inside the Jager booth. I'm here with Peter, the game director for Dreadnought. So we actually just finished a couple 5v5 matches in Dreadnought, but why are we fighting? You know, we're in these giant hulking spaceships duking it out, but I really didn't know, why am I trying to kill the other side other than, you know, bragging rights?
You have a giant spaceship. What you gonna do? You have to fight. No,
put it to use.
Yeah, a gun has to be fired. It's like a movie rule, right? So no. The idea behind Dreadnought is that we are in a colonial time universe. So we are privateers and we are fighting for resources in a multi-faction kind of system. So it's not a good versus evil Star Wars kind of universe. It's more Game of Thrones, multiple factions, and we are kind of a gun for hire that's fighting for resources.
So it sounds like you guys have some backstory to it. We only saw a 5v5 mode. Is it just PvP, or do we have a campaign coming as well?
Actually, we do have a single-player campaign on top of the multiplayer game. So one of our writers is actually Dan Abnett. He's pretty well known for the Warhammer 40k work that he does. He also wrote Guardians of the Galaxy. So he is a really cool guy to define the universe and actually give it this Firefly tonality, which is serious on the one hand, so it's a very serious universe that we are in, but it also has a lighter, more humorous note to it.
I do want to point out, like when we were playing, you know, you think spaceships a lot, and it's going to be a 20-minute fight of maintaining my turrets and spinning them around and all this stuff. It was actually very action, fast-paced. We were sitting in not a small map, but a closer map, so that the combat wasn't distant, and I'm spending 20 minutes getting there. Yeah. Was that a conscious effort to like not action-oriented and super action-based, but the strategy and the action is like a nice little mix?
So yes, it was. Is the simple answer. So the first thing that we wanted to get right, because Dreadnought is a pretty different beast in terms of gameplay, right? Like, I mean, there's not that many big spaceship battle games out there, and there's probably a reason for it, because it's much harder to actually figure out gameplay in the first place with a fighter jet game. It's Twitch-based, so it's rather like you know what you're doing, basically, because it's been done before. With this game, it was something that involved a lot of research and development in terms of design. So we wanted to get combat and close-quarter combat right first, so that actually feels intense and visceral and has this kind of naval battlefield to it. So that's why we are showing this Team Deathmatch map here that is a bit slower. But we are also working on a team elimination mode, for example, where when you get shot down, you're actually not coming back as a giant battleship, but as a small fighter. So you can still influence the battle, but it's you don't want to die because your influence is much lower. And then it becomes a much slower and more tactical game. It already is quite tactical in terms of positioning and team play and how the different classes actually interact with one another in Team Deathmatch. But we're taking this to the extreme with the day mode that we're working on right now.
So to jump into the gameplay, you have the 4 core abilities that every ship has 4 different set of abilities, but also the thing they do share is this interesting energy management system you guys incorporated, which changes how you're allocating that resource. Do you see guys using that in like kind of crazy ways to get that advantage?
Definitely. I mean, in the beginning, we wanted to keep it accessible, so it actually movement feels quite natural in terms of you have WASD, you have left mouse button to fire, and people get that rather quickly. But then they feel that it's actually quite a slow game, and then they find the energy wheel and how to actually use that and how to manage the energy, that you have a constant tactical choice that you make. Okay, am I using that energy to get into the fight fast? Do I still have enough energy to then use it for shields? All that. Where we came from there was we identified the different core elements that are essential to this like giant battleship, spaceship captain idea that everybody has. And everybody has Picard in their heads, sitting in the chair, and it's like all energy to the shields. And when we started with the game, we had a quite complicated system, like 10% energy there, 10% energy there. And then we focused this to this, what you see now, which is like you hold down middle mouse button, you redirect energy to shields, engine, or weapons. So it's rather quick and accessible and intensifies the gameplay. And it's not a simulation type of thing.
You're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket until you turn it off or switch it around?
Yeah, exactly.
What other game modes are you guys kind of toying with in the background right now?
When we started, we had a lot of different game modes that we tried out, like capture the flag and things like that. And then
capture the flag in spaceships?
Yeah. Capture the flag in quotation marks. And then we found out that actually it was quite tricky to do that with the movement systems that we have. So we wanted to do Team Deathmatch first, then to again figure out core combat, and Team Elimination is the second one. And then from there we're going to take the learnings from both of those game modes and turn it into a third game mode that we're not talking about yet, but that's taking the core battle elements but also the more strategic elements and combining them into a third game mode, really.
So right now we have 5 ship classes, but they're static. Is there going to be additional classes that we think are going to be incoming, and B, any kind of customization either through earning experience and then maybe changing out my weapon systems or something to that effect?
Classes for us are very much gameplay and game style defining, so they're kind of a big thing to add new ones. But within each class there's actually going to be multiple ships. So each class has like this, for example, the Dreadnought obviously is more of a tank class, like a very heavy hitter, very slow, takes a lot of damage. But there's different specifications within this class. So there's lighter Dreadnoughts that actually are a bit faster, do maybe more damage but take less damage. So there's variations within this. And all these ships have a very significant, like a very distinct look and feel to them. On top of that, the 4 abilities that you saw, they are fully customizable within the class. So each class has that's a very specific layout that you played right now. So for example, the Corvette, which is our smallest and fastest class, in this layout it has the cloak ability, which turns it more into almost like a spy unit that cloaks, goes behind enemy lines and then hits really hard. At PAX Prime we actually showed a build where the Corvette had a blink warp ability and then became more of a hit and run unit. So depending on your playstyle, abilities actually define your playstyle quite significantly. On top of that, you have the crew members. So you have officers on your ship that actually develop and level as well as you do as the player, and then earn different abilities that further refine your playstyle. So you can tell your navigation officer to focus on a specific area before you go into battle. You can tell your weapon officer to actually focus on reload speed, for example, to be more aggressive in what you do, or focus more on defensive abilities like shield regeneration.
So when can the Lore Hounds get their hands on Dreadnought?
So that is a very good question. Currently the game is pre-alpha. Definitely go to playdreadnought.com to actually learn more about the game and sign up for the newsletter. We want to get it into a friends and family state as soon as we possibly can, and aiming for definitely this year, probably something in the second quarter, but we can't give a specific date yet because we have to see how the closed beta phases actually go.
All right, Lore Hound, so you heard it. It's coming soon.
Yeah. Exactly, it's coming soon.
Thanks so much, Peter.